What's up guys? Happy Sunday. I did not plan on posting a video today, but I was cleaning out my computer and I never deleted the footage for the hurricane and HEMI video that I did last month. Now if you don't know, I did a towing test with my 28-foot trailer. It's about 9,600 pounds with the white car I have in there, and I went up a 6% grade in hot climate, and I literally did those tests on the exact same day. So I did the hurricane first, and then I found a HEMI literally in the same vicinity, and I went back and got that truck too. So same day, same test, and I want to show you guys how they both performed back to back. Now most people know that the HEMI will be returning for 2026, so that's kind of why I figured I'll do this again, just so people can see it side by side. Is the HEMI worth the extra coin over the standard output hurricane? Now, I know some people are saying that the HEMI was only an upgrade charge over the 3.6 liter Pentastar, but it is an upgrade over the hurricane for the standard output version basically. Now if you're getting the high output, you would get a no charge for the HEMI basically, but if anything they should be giving you a credit because of the horsepower and torque that you're losing for that engine, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the footage. We'll start with the hurricane and let's kind of get an idea of the horsepower and torque. This truck did have a 392 rear end, just in case I don't have a chance to tell you that in this video. This is the most controversial engine that Ram has ever put in their trucks. Inline 6, twin turbos. However, has 420 horsepower and 469 pound-feet of torque. All that power goes to that 8 HP 75 8-speed transmission, which is reliable by ZF. Let's see how it performs. You guys see that fuel economy? 4.5 mpg. That's where the turbo is going to kill you at. But let's go ahead and switch over. You ready? We're going to go ahead and give it wide open throttle. I'm going to let some of these cars go ahead of me too. I'm going to starting around 50 miles an hour for these tests too. That is wide open throttle. You guys see that transmission temperature too? Wow. It's 83 degrees. We're at 6,200 feet elevation. A little bit of sway, but it's okay. It's okay. Wow. Is that all she has? No way! We're losing a mile an hour now. See, there's no turbo gauge or anything. Let's see here. Engine oil is 246. She's failing terribly right now. Has nowhere to go. Man. Yeah, this is the worst turbocharged engine I've tested so far. I gotta find out HEMI now. I really do. We were at 61 miles an hour. We were almost down to what, 56. We're at 6,700 feet for the altitude. And see, it's gonna get a little bit steeper up here, so we could lose a little bit more mile an hour. Wow. That's all she has. You know, this is the worst I've seen. Wow. We're at the top now. That is
That was unexpected. I expected it to at least get to 70.
What are you guys' thoughts on that? Did the truck perform as you expected? I was a little disappointed, I will be honest, on how the Hurricane did. But something I didn't know at the time, you guys saw how high the temperatures were, right? Those temperatures were about 250 for the coolant. I would say that's pretty high. And so I think that the truck cut power, which is why we were losing mile an hour. So I saw that Ram did a pretty good job with the cooling system on this truck. And honestly, that's just not so, because it performed pretty poorly for this test. Now let's go ahead and check out the HEMI. Let's go ahead and go over the engine specs on it. This truck too did have a 392 rear end, and it was not a Rebel like the one that we just drove, but it did have some off-road tires on it.
Originally, I thought this was a non-e-torque truck because, you know, at some point they start putting e-torque on the side and I just forgot about it. But yeah, this has the e-torque system. So it's going to have the 395 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque. This generator is going to add 130 pound-feet of torque of supplemental power, whatever that means. And all that power just go through an 8-speed transmission. Let's see how it performs coming up the grade. All right, here we go. I'm gonna drop down. We're at 4.7 mpg. I think we're like 4.5 with the other truck here. So let's get down to 50. And right there. There we go. Come on. So far, so good. Utilizing third gear if you don't see it. Wow. It looks like it's outperforming that twin turbo to inline 6. Don't sleep on my 5.7, I guess is what I'm saying. Wow. It's beating out the, well, hold on, actually around this area I lost about 4 miles an hour with that Hurricane. Oh, there it is. Oh, she is fighting. Same temperature too, about 80 degrees outside right where we are. Oh, it shifted up too. That's, oh no. Come on. Go back, shift back down. But you know what? It's still beating, so far, it's still beating the Hurricane. I think I dropped down to like 56 miles an hour. This is a really steep grade. Wow. Come on, shift back up. Oh, there it is. It just pretty much, it pretty much tied with the Hurricane, but I gotta get back up to, I believe, 58 or 59. Wow. It's doing worse than a Hurricane. If it would just shift back down. Come on. So when I made that comment about the tire at HEMI, this is what I was talking about. Could you imagine this truck with a 6.4 with about 440, 450 horsepower? Remember, the Grand Wagoneer had it. Just saying. Yeah, we did much worse. Much worse than the Hurricane. So the Hurricane still is better. And I'm so glad I didn't put my foot in my mouth and said something too early. But it's not done yet. Wow. Yeah, we're at the top now. We're getting off. Overall, that's still good mile an hour, I would say, because I did drop down and I did the exact same thing with a Hurricane. But you guys see right there? Transmission is actually cooler compared to the Hurricane with more miles on this truck too.
So the HEMI did worse for mile an hour. But what really concerned me was the oil temp. Did you guys see it? It was 296 for the HEMI. Now the coolant was a little bit cooler, than the Hurricane, but the Hurricane's oil temp never got over 250. So at least the cooling is better in comparison with the two engines, but still, it wasn't that hot outside. I guess, it was 92 degrees in Salt Lake City when I started the test, but I go from 4,000 to 6,000 feet on that test when I go up to 6% grade. And so the temperatures do come down. So it wasn't that hot outside, guys. And you saw those temperatures. If it was 110 degrees and you were climbing a 6% grade with those trucks, I mean, they probably would go into limp mode. Now, did you guys see the coolant kind of fluttering? Someone mentioned it in the last video, actually when I did the long form video for the HEMI, but it was like fluttering like this. So again, it's pretty insane, how these trucks perform. I mean, 9,500 pounds isn't a lot of weight, but that trailer is a sail, and it really does work these trucks for sure. Now I'm going to show you guys some performance. I basically show you the 0 to 60 in a quarter mile, and I'll show you guys all this in a spreadsheet here in a second. But if I had to choose between the two engines, I probably would pick the Hurricane just right now, just because, as I've said in the past, the HEMI is just outdated. They really needed to put some R&D into that engine to make it one of the best. Now, having the eTorque system, I don't think does much for the truck for performance. Maybe off the line, and maybe of course if you're riding around town, because of the mild hybrid system on that truck, has a generator, has a little battery pack, things like that. But as far as pulling power going up to 6% grade, the eTorque system is just not there. So I would like for them maybe to get rid of that system in the future.
$30. 60. Quarter mile. 30. 60. Quarter mile.
Despite the Hurricane being Ram's most up-to-date and advanced engine that they offer for the half tons, it barely beat out a tired HEMI. Now, obviously you guys saw the performance. The HEMI is just outgunned, and that's because of the torque. But the reality is the performance and the miles per gallon went to the Hurricane. I was shocked by that. Normally the naturally aspirated V8s do better for fuel economy, but in this case here, the HEMI just could not catch back up again. But regardless of that, I wish that Ram would have added the 6.4 liter HEMI versus this 5.7, because they had opportunities to really maybe do some updates to the engine and really bring this platform to the forefront. That engine has already been proven to make more power, and with a few tweaks they probably could have made it even more powerful for the HD segment, and then waterfall that engine with maybe about 420 horsepower, 430, and maybe give it a little bit more torque, and it would have been a huge success. Obviously more displacement, better oil pump is on the 6.4 versus the 5.7. They both have the ZF transmission, which is the 8 HP 75. But if I had to choose one of those trucks today, I know that people are going to disagree with me, but I'd pick the Hurricane. And I would probably get the high output instead of the standard output, because the high output would probably do slightly better. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below. I'm glad that the HEMI's back, but I hope that they don't just stop there. I hope that they actually do something big in the future to make the HEMI really truly a game changer. Now, spoiler alert, I do have a 5.0 coming with a tow test. See you guys in the next video. Oh, I probably should tell you, it's not going to be my next upload, but it's coming soon. 5.0 towing 9,500 pounds up a 6% grade. Gonna be a good one.